Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Hell Yes podcast. I am so excited to be recording tonight's episode. First and foremost, this is a bonus episode because I usually will post on Tuesdays, but I felt so compelled to have like a girl chat with you guys tonight. And I want to kind of provide this little disclaimer in the beginning of the episode. I will be talking to you guys today like I would be talking to my girlfriends. Lately, I've been a little bit more politically correct in my messaging for a multitude of reasons. One being, I love to be a storyteller, but I don't want to come off like an oversharer. So I try really hard to provide messaging that you guys can take away some sort of clear, helpful tool to use in your real life without me oversharing anything personal about myself that's like too deep and obnoxious. Another reason is just because I don't like to hear commentary about what I have going on in my life. And then I feel like the final reason is to respect the privacy of those who I experience life with. I think something that I've really learned as I get older is that people are really just people. And even though people have wronged me, hurt me, disrespected me, played me, whatever, I forgive them immediately and I empathize because we are all going through the motions of life of learning how to be a good human and learning how to be a better person. And sometimes we just can't be good to everyone all the time. And I understand that. Does that mean I'm going to accept it? No. Anyways, the reason I bring this up is because I decided tonight that I wanted to talk more like we're on FaceTime or like over the phone without having to censor myself too much so that I can really get my point across. Because I feel like I'm not going to be able to really get my point across tonight if I don't just spill the fucking tea. Okay? I really want this particular episode to be an episode about being someone who is easy to replace but hard to replicate. I was really pondering my own confidence, and because I'm an introspective person and quite analytical, I tend to really think deeply about myself often. I don't know if that's narcissistic or if that's just obsessive, but I do it all the time. And I think it's just because I'm always in a perpetual state of evolution and growing. And I also try to find a healthy way to compare it to my peers without making myself feel bad about myself. So I know that they say comparison is the thief of joy, but I think naturally we as humans just kind of compare from a level of like, oh, are other people going through what I'm going through, or is it just me? So, anyways, I was thinking about my own confidence and where it has come from. And when I really think about my confidence, it really stems from a place of working on my inner self. Although doing things to your outer self will really make you feel physically more beautiful, I think what is more sustainable for my particular confidence is all of the work I do with myself. And as I grow, I definitely have become a more patient, understanding and loving person, but I'm also more boundary setting and respectful to myself and others. I used to really be more flippant about that because I didn't really understand the consequences of my actions. I wouldn't say that I was free spirited and slutty or skanky for attention, but I more so did it because I didn't understand the consequences of my actions. So I used to say things like, oh, being casual with people, there's nothing wrong with that if you're in control. And the truth is, that could be true for you guys. I don't judge. I no longer discuss these very important subjects from a point of view of judgment. I more so discuss them from the point of view of what I've went through. So whenever I talk about what doesn't work for me, please do not internalize that as me attacking how you live your life. I am going to only speak from my experience and what it has done and shaped me into. So lately, I've been really just thinking about my own confidence and what it has helped me with recently. And I was actually going to get on Instagram the other day and kind of do like a little rant because I tend to do those on Instagram quite often. And then I'm like, girl, just make a freaking podcast episode about it. And I was going to talk about how my favorite thing about my newfound confidence in my patience and discernment is that people, and by people I mean men, tend to blow it with me before I even break my own boundaries. Now, what I mean by this is, when I set a standard for myself or a boundary for myself, I will give myself a timeline or a limit or a whatever, some sort of thing that I will set in place to when I am willing to do or not do something, if that makes sense. So, for instance, let's just say, and this is literally hypothetical, this is not my real timeline. Let's just say that I say to myself, I will not have sex with a man until 90 days, or I will not have sex with a man until I'm exclusive. That is a boundary and a standard I set for myself in my personal life to protect myself from the people who have given me low vibrational experiences in the past. And the truth is, we have to take full and unconditional radical responsibility and accountability for our actions. I could have the best intentions with others, but if I am not taking care of myself and understanding that I needed to respect myself in order to have a better experience, then that was me lacking boundaries and accountability. So in my new life, I have created specific boundaries around dating, friendships, relationships in general, even with family and with money and whatever. Like, I create so many different things for myself. And I was thinking about how when I create these boundaries, I am aware that I am a human, that I am a woman, that I have needs, that I have desires, and that I am a very passionate person. And that based on my own human experiences, there have been times in my life where I have gone against my own word. Now, do I bully myself for that now? No, I do not. I understand why I do the things I do, and that is why I'm able to make peace with it. But what I really love about my new confidence is my ability to be patient in my new life and allowing things to unfold the way that they should. I am so aware, and I'm talking hyper aware, to the fact that people are in a perpetual state of rushing everything, rushing sex, rushing love, rushing romance, rushing whatever. I don't know if it's because they fear commitment or they fear their feelings, coming into fruition, or that they genuinely know that this person is not for them. So they're just trying to skip to the good part because they don't want to actually invest the time and energy into whatever experience they are having. Being that I know this, I feel very out of place in the current dating climate. I am not pursuing dating connections at the moment, but people do pursue me. And lately, I have been going out more, which I have to say has been quite nice. I am quite a homebody, and I just love being in my safe place. And I would consider my safe place my home. I spend a lot of time here with my dogs and journaling and working and doing self-care, that it actually is quite difficult for me to leave this humble abode and go out and explore and socialize on a consistent basis. My socialization recently has been the gym, and it has been actually really nice for me because it allows me to be social but still get something done that feels good to my growth and journey. That being said, I am pursued quite often. That's not me bragging, that's me sharing. And I have to say, I've always been the girl that gets taken out on dates. Also, not a brag, just a fact. But that also doesn't mean that my experiences are all amazing. I think what is so interesting about my experiences is people constantly trying to focus on conquering me in some way or figuring me out. And the older I get, the more mysterious I am naturally. And I'm not doing it to be rude or to be like hidden or secretive. It's just a matter of the older you get, the more private you become. You don't need to divulge and overshare and be this full version of yourself with somebody on the first, second, and third date. That is something that they get to know with time. And I do believe that there should be a level of friendship in dating and in courting in order for it to really be a harmonious connection. All that being said, I really was just thinking about, and I was actually talking about this last night, but we'll get into it, about how guys really do blow it with me before I even break my boundaries. Now, I told you earlier that I have boundaries in place, but I am a woman, I have needs, I have desires, and things happen. And I always laugh because I know myself. I could start to fall for someone or really like someone, and I'll say to myself, honestly, probably the next time I see him, I might just do it. I might just go for it. And God comes and interferes and goes, let me show you who this person really is. And the guy will literally blow it before I even make that step. And I literally laugh because I'm thinking, wow, they have no idea that I was almost going to go against my own word for them. And thank God I never do. So my patience, resilience, and just willingness to really see things through has been winning lately. And yes, it is a disheartening experience when people let you down, but it's an even more disheartening experience when you let yourself down. And I just don't want to do that anymore. I haven't done it in a long time, and I've really been loving that I'm sticking to my word and that I'm pouring into myself, and that I really am living in a I'm decentering men mindset. And decentering men doesn't mean you're not going on dates. It means that men are not the focal point of your life. It means that you have a fucking life without them, and that you're going to be okay with or without someone talking to you. So then I thought deeper about my own strong, healthy ego and how I'm able to nurture that. And I was thinking about what constitutes a healthy ego. And I feel like a functional ego, and I actually found this online, is balanced, and it can be confident, crazy, playful, and extroverted, but it can also be creative and vulnerable and introverted. It can be a big personality, but it's not self-absorbed or insensitive. And I think that that's such a beautiful sentiment because whenever I think about my light and my confidence and my aura, sometimes I want to suppress it to appease others. And then I remind myself, but no part of you is trying to make other people feel bad. And if they do, that's on them. As long as you're humble and kind, that's all you can truly show up as. And just because I have worked on myself immensely doesn't mean that I have to coddle those who have not. Because I am such a compassionate person, I can understand and empathize why people are not where they need to be. But this is what I will say about myself. I have spent so many years working on myself and evolving and growing and changing that I am very aware that a man can meet me and find me attractive and want to do X, Y, and Z with me and not get his needs met soon enough or the way that he wanted. So he ends up trying to replace me or playing me. And I used to really allow that to upset me because I was operating out of ego and I was feeling like a pick me almost because I'm like, why am I not being picked? How dare he look at me showing up in this way? But now I have such a different approach mentally, and it's that, yeah, you can absolutely replace me. I mean, listen, do I think that I have a wonderful pussy and a wonderful heart? Absolutely. Do I think it's like significantly better than other women? Not necessarily. Like, I'm sure somebody will think so, but it's not because it's actually better. It's because they love me. And I think that in knowing that, yes, you can absolutely replace me in 4 seconds, but you will never be able to replicate me. And that's not me being rude. That's not me being pretentious or pompous. It's me knowing that the work that I put in myself cannot just be easily found again. It just can't. It is my own authentic journey. It is my growth, my self-love, my self-respect, my willingness to be someone so special to someone. And in knowing that, I rest well at night. So somebody replacing me, it used to make me feel so icky because I was like, wow, I'm so great. How could he not see that? And the thing is, they can. Very seldom do people think of you when they make these decisions in life. A lot of people's personal decisions have everything to do with themselves and pretty much nothing to do with you. And I am so aware of that now that I really just let it fly. I'll be mad or angry for an evening and then I'll just move on. The reason I even bring this up is because I was talking to one of my good friends last night and I was out for Memorial Day trying to party, I guess you can say, as the homebody I am. I went out with a great friend of mine who I actually have known her for a million years. We've just been close for a while, and she actually also works for me. So it's insane. Like, we have a business relationship and also a friendship, and it's really worked for us for years. And I really wanted to go out, but I knew I didn't want to go down to the Jersey Shore. So I went to a bar that I know the people that work there and that I enjoy. And I was pretty much expecting for it to be kind of dead because I knew everybody was going to be at the Jersey Shore, but I still wanted to go out and be seen and enjoy the evening with my girlfriend. And while we were out, one of my guy friends was working at a place next door, and him and I ended up just getting into a pretty deep conversation. And I was kind of sharing with him a particular dating experience that I had recently because he always asks for updates on my life. And I was kind of explaining my frustrations with the person and why I'm so irritated. And he kind of reminded me of something that I tend to forget. And he pretty much said to me, he's like, Haley, I don't think you realize that, like, right now, the dating pool is literally mixed with piss, and that everybody is fucking everybody so early. And you're not like that. So I think a lot of guys think maybe I can change her mind, maybe I can conquer that and get in her pants. And after they realize that I cannot be conquered that easily, sometimes they just bow out, and that's okay. And I think that that was because there was never true, genuine interest in getting to know me or be with me. And I've made peace with that. And he was kind of explaining that to me in a friendship and nice way. He's like, listen, you're a good girl. And I think, you have, he said to me, you have immense sex appeal, you are very intelligent, and it's perplexing to people sometimes because a lot of people cannot believe or fathom that a woman can be sexy, smart, intelligent, successful, but also have a lot of self-respect and be abstinent and patient and knows her worth. Like, sometimes the things just don't make sense to certain people. And I genuinely am okay with that now because if you're not willing to find out what it is that I'm about, then that's okay with me. But I'm just really grateful that I had this conversation with him because he really opened my eyes to what it is that men think and what we're dealing with in this dating climate. And I have to say, like, I'm frustrated that so many people are still engaging in hookup culture, but I also don't judge it because I am not perfect. And I have once been a part of certain things that I didn't think were good for me or that were beneath who I feel like I am today. And I needed to go through those things to appreciate the now. But it bothers me for the fact that I'm so marriage minded, I'm so relationship oriented, and I really am not looking for love. But when somebody does approach me, I really would like them to approach me with the best of intentions. And it does irritate me from time to time that people think that they can change my views or my thoughts or my wants and desires, and they end up just, screwing themselves. Thank God I don't really invest time and energy or thought in these people. And I empower myself by constantly burying myself in activities that make me feel whole and make me feel feminine. I also make sure that I always give myself grace and kindness whenever I'm going through a situation and didn't see something coming that was either painful or blindsiding. I also empower myself by writing down my boundaries and my rules in my life, whether it's dating, friendships, relationships with people in general, like family. I write down every boundary and rule that I want so that I make it clear with myself and with others of what I will and will not put up with. I think a lot of people don't realize that just because somebody is absent, it doesn't mean that they're asexual. We still have wants and needs. We just don't want to be wanted and needed for our bodies by a stranger. And it is so low vibrational for me at this point in my life. Like, I genuinely would like to be with someone intimately who I love and care deeply for. I think of these things. I try to figure out, how I can better discern certain experiences and how I can better give myself what I need in the meantime. My abstinence was not faith-based, and everybody's journey is their journey, but my abstinence has nothing to do with faith. It had everything to do with me not wanting to be a part of low vibrational activities anymore. It made me feel yucky. It made me feel like I wasn't myself. And you have to understand, guys, I have a very difficult time pedestalizing myself. And I think that that is a good and a bad thing. I think for a really long time, I wanted so badly to be who I am today, which is like an influencer and like a very like role model type of person. And then when I became her, I struggled with that identity in my life because I didn't want people to think I was bragging or pretentious or obsessed with myself. So I would almost dim my light with men and with women to make them feel more comfortable in my presence. For a few years, people would act giddy or excited to meet me or to find out that I had a following, and it made me so uncomfortable that I would almost dumb myself down to being relatable to their level of relatability in order for them to be like, oh, she's just a normal person. Because I didn't like what it felt like to be pedestalized or to have a light on me in that way. But what that in return did was it made me have very low vibrational experiences with men and even with women, not sexually, but just friendship wise. And I think with the men, it was, okay, I don't want to view myself as higher than or better than, so I'm just going to be with guys that are okay. And it's like, no, Haley, like, you have worked on yourself immensely. You need to start mirroring that in your life with all of your experiences. So, in the most recent years, I've definitely dated up. I've definitely had better experiences. And I've definitely at least been courted by people who I view are my equals financially and even emotionally. Where I end up screwed is just with the compatibility, suitability, and then with a lot of these people wearing masks. Most people are not honest and authentic. Then when you see their authentic selves, you're like, ew. At the end of the day, I give grace to those who are figuring it out. If you're not doing these deeper looks into yourself and you're not trying to become closer to knowing yourself, you will fall victim to wearing a mask and trying it on and not really knowing who you are, what you want, and anything for that matter. And then you'll start dating people and you'll think that everyone is just like you. But the truth is, a lot of these mask wearing men will court me and then get upset that my authentic self is almost like mocking them because they feel like my authenticity is too good for their inauthenticity. And their inauthenticity is even better than their authentic self. Like, are you following? A lot of people show up wearing a mask, trying to be someone they're not to be liked. And when they find out that my authentic self is even better than their inauthentic self, they get very upset. And I am not saying this in a leveling way because I do not level with people. I am saying this from the perspective of I love myself dearly. I work on myself. I also know where I fall short. And I show up exactly as her. I ain't playing games. And I think a lot of people can be attracted to that at first because they also think you're wearing a mask. And then when they continue to get to know you and find out that that mask isn't falling because it's who you really are, they bow out. And, in talking to my guy friend the other night, I realized, yeah, I was fucking born in like the wrong era. I don't like this dating climate. I don't like even this friendship climate. I think naturally I've just become more comfortable with knowing that working on yourself, glowing up, and becoming a better you is really specifically for yourself. Because if you're doing it for some sort of reward, you're failing miserably already. And that's not to say that if you become a sexier, smarter, better person that you won't meet your person. You probably will. But a lot of the times, these things are sheer luck. And, even when I think back at my own harmonious connections that I've had in the past, it was because we went to the same school or we had the same friend or we liked the same activities and it just happened. Because if really it was because you worked on yourself, then we would have better connections with so many people. But at the end of the day, we will never cross paths with half the people that we might have a connection with and we'll never meet them just because of, geography and life itself. So for me, I had to switch my own mindset from, girl, if you're doing any of this for a man, give up. I had to tell myself that in order to really be in your best headspace when it pertains to your glow up and your journey to evolving into the more exclusive, high value person that you want to be, I had to remind myself and check myself at the door that this is not for others, this is for myself. Because if you do anything, whether it's losing weight, getting prettier, becoming smarter, getting an education, whatever, if you're doing that for validation, And that could be validation in the sense of somebody choosing you and, you're trying to be a pick me, or somebody liking you more, whatever. You're already screwing yourself. And I'm not saying that it won't happen. You very well might attract someone that way. I mean, at the end of the day, that is just us becoming more aligned. But I think a lot of people get frustrated when they're in their glow up journey and they don't actually get the reward they thought they were going to get, myself included. And I checked that at the door. When I started losing weight, people had asked me if I was having better dating experiences. And I thought that was a weird question to even ask me, because I wasn't even thinking about dating when I was losing weight. And I was actually in the house working like crazy. I wasn't really socializing and going out. I thought, oh, people probably think that the weight loss has attributed to me having better experiences. But the truth is, no, alignment is everything. And just because you're aligned or because you're better doesn't mean that you're going to always have better experiences with people. What it does is it just allows you to be more discerning and to leave situations that aren't good for you earlier. I have better experiences overall in the sense of I carry myself a certain way, so I don't even attract people who would ask me certain things. But just because I'm attracting people who are willing to spend money or take me on dates doesn't mean that all of these people are healed and well and are my person. And that's okay. And one thing that I noticed that a lot of these people have in common that makes me feel icky or frustrated is the vices, is the drinking, is the smoking, is the sex. And it's a very common vice, these three things. And I'm not demonizing the vices, but I do find that they can get in the way of being a more sound, healthy individual. I'll just say that. And being that I understand the concept of everything in moderation, it seems like a lot of people don't. Sex in moderation, drinking in moderation, smoking in moderation. Y'all just don't do it, do you? Okay, I literally asked my guy friend last night. I said, tell me this right now. Are people having sex on the first date? Yes. Is it every time? Not necessarily, Haley, but it's a lot of the times. How many bodies are these people having a week? 1, 2, Haley. I'm like, are you kidding? I can't hear this. Am I really this out of touch? And I know, I'm sure somebody listening right now is like, Haley, this is not everywhere. I'm like, it's not everywhere and everyone, but it's a good amount of people. The way that I deal with my frustration is I channel it. I remind myself that it's not personal, that it, if anything, has allowed me to really be stronger with my boundaries and my deeper understanding of myself. It also allows me to give people grace and time to heal and grow, and that I need to take a step back if I notice that that needs to happen for certain people. And it also allows me to just focus on myself, my hobbies, my passions, my work, and everything in between. Like, I am not allowing these stupid things to be the center of my universe. Yes, they're a passing thought on a Saturday night, but it's not the consumption of my thoughts. And I am okay with thinking about things from time to time as long as it doesn't change who I am. And I know that there are guys out there who are spending their time pouring into themselves and doing hobbies and certain things, and they're not engaging in these activities. I do not believe that it's everyone. I just think it's a great amount of people, and it's weird. So if you are listening to this and you want to change your experiences and you want to be someone who is easy to replace but hard to replicate, because at the end of the day, we're all replaceable. Men do not care, okay? I promise you. Like, they will leave the best thing that they've ever had for something so much less because they don't have self-love. I promise you. So a great way to be someone who isn't easily replicated is someone who's authentic and pours into themselves in that way, being self-focused, but not in a rude way. Like, you just genuinely are out of the way and minding your business. You also have strong boundaries and you don't break them. You're a woman of your word. You are someone who really enjoys your friends and family and has hobbies that are healthy and feminine. You are someone who does not take personally someone else's treatment towards you, because you know that operating out of a place of ego is thinking that it's personal, but knowing the awareness is knowing that nothing is ever truly personal and that people's behavior is a reflection of themselves. I think that for me, I no longer view people as like evil or good or whatever. I just view them as an unconscious being learning life. And the way that you're able to really just move forward in a healthy way is, hey, Experience that emotion and that passing thought, but then really just let it go. Release it as soon as you let it come into your consciousness. I don't hold on to these things for long. I just channel them. I will go to the gym. I will write it down. I'll talk to a friend and vent about it, and then I'll move the fuck on. And it allows me to get over people and situations so much quicker. I literally don't grow deep attachment for people anymore. And it's because I am the most attached to myself. And I have a very fulfilling and happy life. And although there is so much duality to my life where I can say confidently, I would love to be with someone, but I also love my singleness. Like, there is something to be said that two things can be true at the same time. I also consider myself to be sexy, but also modest at times. I can be old school and nuanced. Do not put me in a box because I am multidimensional and multifaceted. And one thing I love about myself is my ability to change and grow, but also to shapeshift in a healthy way. I am able to read a room, read a moment, and be and act accordingly around certain people and things. And it's not because I'm fake, but it's because it's time and place. It's respect. It's couth. It's class. Let me know what you guys think of today's episode. I know it was all over the place. I really just wanted this to be a sharing circle. I think that we all kind of share the same frustrations about the dating climate. I know I'm not the only one here who feels this way. And I just want you guys to all stay strong and to be someone who is proud of your decisions and of your life. Even when you make a mistake or take a step out for a moment, really just find your center again and be the woman that your younger self would look up to. That is always what I remind myself of. And I don't care what everyone is doing. Just because everyone is doing it doesn't mean that I would. Like my mom said growing up, if everybody is going to jump off of the bridge, are you going to do it too? I'm just not. I'm just not. And I'm not going to believe for 1 second that certain things are not going to happen for me just because I don't see it right now. I am in an abundance mindset. I love myself dearly and I love humans. And I think that just staying optimistic and real with yourself is the only thing that you really can do. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I love you guys so much and I will be speaking to you on Tuesday. Bye, everyone.